This one moved quickly today. UT Dallas has now banned a student who was accused of rape at Baylor University. Jacob Anderson has been making a lot of headlines after he pleaded no contest in the rape case and walked away with no jail time, getting probation instead. Well, that encounter happened in Waco when he was president of a fraternity there. He's now listed as a student at UT Dallas. Thousands of people, though, have signed a petition asking the school to kick him out. Well, now the university released a statement tonight saying that Anderson, quote, will not participate in UTD commencement activities, will not attend UT Dallas graduate school, and will not be present on campus as a student or as a guest.